All right, y'all. So I want to discuss this article that I found today that I think is really interesting. I want to talk to you guys about it. So in 2023, one of the most anticipated movies, I think all of you guys will agree, is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 because it's a two-part thing. We're getting Part 1 2023, Part 2 2024. And I've been looking forward to this movie for a while because, man, let me tell y'all something. Spider-Man Into the Spider Verse was so much fun, and I have it on 4K, y'all. And let me tell you, if you have a good television with a good 4K player, get that 4K, dude. You're not gonna believe how awesome it looks. Like with HDR, the colors look vibrant, beautiful. They pop out. Like that's a really well animated film. So let's talk about this article about Across the Spider Verse. Spider Verse 2 is not a kids movie, explains senior animator exclusive from the Direct. Now, I want to discuss this and talk to you guys in the comments about this too. So it says here Spider Verse comes with the lofty task of not only continuing the story of Into the Spider Verse, but following up on a film that literally redefined what an animated film could be. Yeah, I mean, that movie did a lot. The first film took the medium of animation, broke nearly every rule for said medium, and did so by telling a mature and nuanced story that one may not expect from a bright and colorful animated film, which I'm one of those people. When I went into the Spider Verse, I wasn't expecting it to be that real. I thought it was gonna be like more like a Pixar movie, a little bit of realness, a little bit of like subtext for adults, but mostly a kids movie. This one went a little bit further than that, I think, to where it's a great film. Across the or Into the Spider Verse should be considered. It should be considered a great movie, not just a great cartoon movie or animated movie. It says here it will take the torch from its predecessor in that respect, telling another exciting story that has been called Avengers Endgame-esque. So they're hyping this up as being Endgame level. Now, there's all kinds of rumors about how there's going to be more Spider-Man in this one. The Japanese Spider-Man, Supaidaman, will be here. Andrew Garfield. But I want to talk about this right here. I want to really discuss this. An exclusive interview with the Direct's Klein Felt Santos, they're talking about the Ere Santos, one of the lead animators, revealed that some of the choices characters make during the story had much of the team asking, "This is a kids movie? I guess it's not a kids movie." That to me means, and this is actually a good news. I don't think that means that we're gonna have a lot of characters die. I think we might have characters die, but I don't think people dying necessarily makes a movie not a kids movie. For example, Bambi. Characters die in that movie. It's still a kids movie. Land Before Time, same thing. Having characters die to me is no longer something I consider to be surprising for a kids movie. However, it's more about the execution. Will it be gory? Or will it just be a thing where Miles Morales is now older and has to make more adult decisions, and so the kids are going to go see the movie for its nice pretty colors, meanwhile the adults are going to go see the movie because we love Spider-Man and we love the Miles Morales character in the movie, and very importantly, we also love a great story and we can relate to it. So this is kind of what I'm going to read to y'all what was written here, and kind of I want to get y'all's thoughts down in the comments. So as he says, it was a really challenging project. So it was a lot of frustrating times, something every production has. But what kind of kept us going was we'd be frustrated or something would change or a sequence was cut and then we'd see a new render and we'd be like, okay, all right, let's go. And also some of the choices characters were making in the story were like, what? Okay, all right. Is this is a kids movie? I guess it's not a kids movie. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. So it's very, very super exciting to me. What I think he's trying to say is that there were moments in the script that were maybe changed by Lord Miller and things like that to reflect a more adult decision. And maybe as they were making this film, they had one direction, and at some point during the production, a change may have been requested from either Sony or Lord Miller or whomever, the producers, and then they have to switch over to let's make it a bit more mature. Now, the thing is, when it says it's not a kids movie, it's kind of a weird thing to say because I'll give you an example of something like that's the opposite. Batman the Animated Series and X-Men the Animated Series are two cartoons from the 90s that really respected its audience. Like, those two cartoons touched on themes that were way above traditional cartoons. Batman was a very psychological animated series. Some have said it's the best cartoon ever made. I can see where you're coming from. X-Men covered on the topic of racism, loneliness, friendship, romance, obviously responsibility, all these incredibly adult themes. But those are still kids' shows. Can we enjoy them as adults? Of course we can. I love X-Men. I love Batman. They still stand as being classics. But, like, it's one of those things where I am okay with them going in this direction, but it can still be a kid's movie. It's just going to have more adult themes. And so if kids grow up watching this movie and then they revisit it later in life when they're older, it might make more sense to them. So he goes on to say, Spider-Verse 2 animator said if fans thought the first one was intense, they've seen nothing yet. He says, I think something that one of the producers would say was, this is completely new. This is completely new. We're not trying to redo anything we've done before. And when you see the movie, you will see that basically nothing is redone. And I remember when I was interviewing for the job, they were saying, oh, you thought the first one was intense? You've seen nothing. It's going to be amazing. And I'm like, sure, whatever you say. So they were telling him this before they even had begun production. I remember he remembers joining the project and thinking, what, this is real? Over multiple sequences, calling the original movie very small and contained comparatively. Which means that they're going to bring in, like, I think we're going to see Toby and Andrew and maybe even Tom Holland make cameos, dude. That's been rumored for a while. Maybe not in the first one, maybe in the second one, but still, nonetheless, I think we're going to see that at some point. Then I joined the company and then I saw all the renders and I saw all the different screenings that are for the movie, and I was like, what? This is real? Okay, this is exciting. And anytime I was working on Across the Spider-Verse and I'd watch Into the Spider-Verse, I would kind of feel like, oh, wow, this movie feels very small and contained comparatively, which when I tell people, they're like, I don't believe that. And I'm like, well, just wait and you'll see. The first film definitely felt big. It was obviously focused a lot on Miles and Gwen. And we know that. I reviewed it here on the channel. But it still did enough with the Spider-Man characters that it was fun. That it was also enlightening. Whereas this one may do more with them. I'm going to read this last paragraph here, y'all. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'll link you to it. It's from the direct. It'll be down in the description. But I want to give my thoughts. Yeah, I think from what I can say, it's just with the risk they're taking with the art styles and energy that's in the movie. With the scope of the movie, it's one of those movies that you as a filmmaker, you're part of, and you think to yourself, how in the world are we going to make this movie? And I'm not part of the production anymore, but I'm still like, how are they going to make that movie? But they are. So he might just be hyping things up, dude, but based on this, I am hoping for, I mean, obviously we want the movie to do well. Will it top the first one? I mean, there's people who think that was the greatest Spider-Man film ever made. Better than Spider-Man 2, better than No Way Home. I don't know if I feel that way, but it's definitely in the top 3. Top 5 at the latest. It's got to be top 5. But I would say top 3. It's a great piece of Spider-Man lore and history that I actually feel bad for people like 30, 40 years from now who miss seeing these movies in theaters, because this is like a great story for our generation. You know, all of us, not just like old people, like, you know, people in their 30s like me, people in their 20s like some of you guys, and even younger, like everyone, because it was so well done. So yeah, what do y'all think they're talking about, man? What do y'all think? Give me your prediction down below, and I'll talk to you soon.